Okay, so now we're going to start on the head. So we're going to start by casting on 6 stitches. So the next step is to stitch 1, knit in the front and the back, and then knit 1, then knit in the front and the back. That increases the stitches. Knit 1, and then knit in the front and the back. All right, for a total of 9 stitches. To knit those 9 stitches and put them on 3 needles. 1, 2, 3. One, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. All right, then you want to be sure to line them up so nothing's twisted. So in the next row, you're going to knit 1, there we go, knit 1, knit front and back, increasing a stitch, and knit 1. Next needle, knit 1, knit front and back, and knit 1. And then do that for the last needle. You now have 12 stitches on your needles. So for the next row, you are going to knit front and back, then you're going to knit 2, and then knit front and back. That will put 6 stitches on each needle for a total of 18. You now have a total of 18 stitches, and so what you're going to do now is just knit around, just plain knitting for 7 rows. Okay, so here is what it looks like at this point. Okay, so for the next row, we're going to knit 2 together, and knit 2, and knit 2 together 3 times. So now you're back to 12 stitches total. The next row, you're going to knit 2 together all around. So, knit 2 together, knit 2 together. So now you have 6 stitches. So now cut off the end, give yourself a nice tail. So we're going to draw that yarn through the stitches. Okay, one at a time. I don't want to twist any of the stitches. Pull that through. Off, and then the last one. Now we're going to tighten this up. tighten that up really good, and then pull that thread through, yarn through that last loop. Okay. All right, so here is your doll's head. This is the base. You see there were 6 stitches there, and see how it's open? That's for the neck. That's for the neck to go up it in there, right? Okay, so the next step is to make the arms. Okay, so here's an arm, and we're going to make it with the I-cord. So this is 3 inches, and then I used a different thread yarn right there for border, and then the hand. Okay, so for the I-cord, we're going to cast on 7 stitches. All right, now this is very fun and very easy. All right, so here is where, okay, the yarn is. And of course you have to use double pointed needles. So now I'm going to scoot it up to this side of the needle, and I'm just going to go ahead and knit the seven stitches. So then I'm going to scoot it down to this end of the needle. See, that's where the yarn's coming out. And give this a tug and knit the 7 stitches again. Okay, then scoot it down to that end of the needle. Okay, so now you're going to give this a tug, and you're going to, I stick my finger through there like that and give it a tug. Okay. Okay, knitting 7 stitches again, and then scooting the stitches down to this end of the needle. And you give your yarn a tug. At the very beginning you want to sort of finesse. You'll finesse this into a tube at the very beginning. Later on it's not as, later on it just happens. See, it's a tube. So you're going to want to knit that for 3. After I've knitted 3 inches of the I-cord, I'm going to cut the yarn, and then this is only going to be 1 row right here. So I'm going to keep a tail right there. Knit these 7 stitches. Then I'm going to pull the tail from the previous yarn, pull the tail from this bordered color, and I'm going to tie them together. These ties will be woven in later. Okay? Now I'll do the same thing. I'm going to change to the skin color. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut this yarn off and get the skin color. And after I knit a row, of the skin color, I will tie that yarn with the blue border yarn in the same manner. So next I knitted 4 rows of I-cord with the skin color, and then pulled this off, and then I'm going to go back up over here, and I'm going to draw this yarn through these loops, okay, in the same manner as if I was knitting I-cord, okay. And then when we get to the last loop, we pull the yarn through, but keep that loop and give all of this a nice tight tug. Okay, and then draw that loop through. So there is the arm with the hand on the end. Now for the leg, we're going to do a striped I-cord. So we are going to cast on 8 stitches. And then as before, scoot the stitches down the end of the needle. Now the first row that I knit is going to be with the second color. Leave a tail. And then you're going to scoot all this back down. Now, at this point, you are going to tighten up everything, right? Tighten that up, tighten your first row of knitting, tighten this up. Okay, so now you're going to knit with the first color. Alright, now this is going to be kind of fiddly, okay? But then you're going to tighten this stuff, and you're going to tie together the tails of these 2 yarns. But you had to do some rows of stitching before you could do that. Okay? These 2 tails are knotted together. Now we're going to stitch the I-cord just the same way as the original, except that each time you're going to change the color. Scoot it back down, give both of them a tug. Alright, so here is the striped I-cord. I'm going to knit 5 1/4 inches of this, and then cut, and then we are going to make the shoe. Do the same thing that we did before. Start the yarn and knit. Alright, and then give it a tug and there we go, and tie these ends together in a knot. Okay, so that's six rows, and we're going to finish this off the same way that we finished off the hand, leg, and shoe. Okay, so here's all of her parts pieces. So the next thing we're going to do is assemble the doll.